again for another video. So this time we're going to do a video with Aka. I wanted to do this video for a long time, but I figured that this is a good point to do it because she's more enlightened with the person that she's becoming versus the person that she was before she came here. So I figured that we'd just go over a few things. You know, she seems very excited to do the video. So this is a good time to actually go ahead and get it out the way. So the video is going to be about, the topic is going to be about how things were versus how they are now. From her perspective, from how I see things, from the progression she's made, from the challenges that she faced when she first came versus the challenges that she's facing now. You know, those are some of the things that we're going to go over in this video. So anyways, without further ado, here she is. I guess we'll start out with what was your reason for being here in the first place?
So, well, first off, hello. Because I needed guidance on how to survive in this world. I always tried to keep myself away from society because I was not accepted, but I knew that if I needed to grow, that I had to include society as it was.
Understandable. You say that you weren't accepted. I think that's a good portion to go over because we only touched on that briefly before about your upbringing and how you became to not really deal with society. I think that's a good point to start with as well. Like, so why is it that you came to the conclusion that you didn't want to deal with society in the first place? Like, what was your upbringing?
So I was raised Muslim. My father's from Egypt. And, you know, from that point, it was just, I was always looked at being the different one because I did cover since I was young. Society, I always looked at it and, you know, be like, oh, that's nice. But there was always something wrong about it, I would say. I would say my mother. My mother and the way that she went about life. You know, she had 6 children. And I always felt like, we all felt like she did not invest in her children that she had, but she always was still searching for that love. I get it now as an adult. I already forgave her for all of it, moving forward.
Okay. So you grew up Muslim and you ended up covering, and during that covering, I mean, from what you told me, you were ostracized about your religion and how you appeared socially to the people there. Because where was it again? You say that happened. Where did that happen?
Roosevelt Island.
Roosevelt. That was in New York.
New York.
Okay. So and that's so strange because you would figure that people would be a lot accepting in New York City due to its high diversity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
But I've never grew up in New York City. So.
Roosevelt Island is a small island. You can walk it less than 3 hours. But there wasn't a lot of Muslims on the island. So there was more like, you know, Christians, Catholics around. So when they saw me, they was like, different, never had friends or whatnot because I was not accepted. I was not what they wanted me to look like. Now that I realize.
I get it, yeah.
But the question?
Well, the question was, because I mean, you answered it because I was asking, New York City was a diverse place, so I didn't understand why they weren't accepting because it's not like New York City don't have a Muslim population at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like out of place to. I mean, they have actual shops on different boroughs for. You know what I'm saying? So
But
that's why.
let's just say, I apologize for
No,
cutting you off,
you're
but
fine.
let's just say that me going to school in my class, I was the only Muslim.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So as far as the religion, I do not practice anymore, but as a kid, it was rough, you know, because other kids were not Muslim and they was able to school and do things freely that I was not able to do. So I never understood that. But growing up, I understand now. It's a beautiful religion. It's beautiful. It taught me how to expect a man to see my beauty from within and not just of my body or my face, pretty much.
Okay.
So I always took that with me. My sister, she did not. But I think that had a huge part of my upbringing, you know, the cleanliness and obedience. I didn't get the obedient part, but I'm working on it now. But as far as just how that molded me to be the person I am today, I think plays a huge part in my life.
Okay. And that's why I asked about it specifically, because a lot of people would tend to assume, it's so strange that people tend to assume that they inherently understand that you had some type of past and that helped mold you into who you are. But a lot of people don't see that the starting point has a very wide trajectory when it gets further down the line when you grow up. So that's why I asked about it specifically, because that helps tell the story of how you are now. You get what I mean? Like,
Yes.
It says that, just like you mentioned, the way a man sees a woman, where you got that from, how you don't deal with society at this point, so much so because of the past. I think those things are important to explain the then and now.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to ask you about is, like I said, you came here for specific things, right?
All right. So I love this story because I look back at it and I'm just like, wow, like I'm really was meant to be where I am today. My whole life been set up for this. We met and it was purpose. From the beginning, I didn't say he was gorgeous. I didn't say any of that, even though you are. But I didn't look at you like that. I said, we had a conversation. I said, call me. Let's have this conversation on the phone. And then we went out, right? And it was just like, wow, like you're exactly what I was asking God for, as far as having a guidance of being I don't want to say like a abiding citizen, but someone who is
able to navigate
in this world, because I had horrible experiences. I wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
So, I went into this relationship as purpose. I was just like, okay, we agreed on the same things, that this is what we're gonna do moving forward. What did it for me, what stopped my progress, I should say, was falling in love. I fell in love and my progress just was like no more purpose of why we're in this relationship, but I went into that la la land. And that just kind of not ruined.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I wouldn't say that it stopped the purpose.
No.
I just think that your love for me took the front seat. And made the purpose something that it wasn't agreed upon. Well, yeah, it took the back seat.
Yes.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I think that is a course that needed to happen regardless, because now it brings the reason for the purpose to be put forward. Now, as you experience that, you can say, "Oh, that's where it went bad." So now you gain an immunity to that again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
hopefully,
I don't think it's a bad thing, or it's gonna. I personally, I don't see a problem with it. You say it's the bane of existence at this point. It's very antithesis to the purpose, but I don't see it that way. I get it.
Wait, but I can see how you don't see that it's what's the word?
The antithesis, the opposite. I mean,
Yeah. But as far as being a woman, I think we need to definitely understand that purpose is everything. That when you get into something because of love, that love doesn't always last forever. Yeah. It does alter, it does change. And you used to tell me this, and I'd be like, yes, I agree. And then when I got to it, I'm just like, oh, that's what he was really talking about. That kind of just spoiled my
It's your favorite word, eh?
Yes. But I had to go through it. I did not like the person that I became, trying to put this relationship as that, oh, we're just in love, no. Like, it really ruined my progression. But now I'm back on the right course, because at the end of the day, we do have a purpose to be in each other's life.
Yep.
And that outweighs it all. Yeah. Outweighs the love.
And I think that's important to mention, because I often emphasize on men to seek women and women to actually seek men, if they're going to seek men, to look for a purpose first. Because I was actually just reading something not too long ago about the Indian culture, India, whatever.
The India?
Yeah. And they have a large percentage of arranged marriages. And with arranged marriages, that is done purely for purpose. It's not done because one person loves another, this and that, nothing. And you know what their divorce rate is?
Low.
4%.
Believe it.
4%. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, 4% for arranged marriages? That they gotta be lying. I don't want to call them liars, but I'm sure this is a back study, and they looked into it heavily. I think they would be largely disputed across the world if it was not true. But that was astonishing, to find that out. And then look at our culture, our divorce rate. I mean, in the Black community, we have like an 80% divorce rate. That's crazy. And guess what? The reason why most people get married in the Black community? Love, convenience,
money,
everything else except for a purpose. Everything else except for a purpose. So I thank you for bringing that up, because now I get to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so as far as where you are now, because we understand how you started off. You started off as a purpose. You went through a love phase. Then you realized that should not be prioritized, and the purpose needs to make the forefront again. Where are you now?
I am to the point where whatever you are asking for, I trust you enough to know that, yes, it may not feel good to my emotions. I may not understand it. I may cry about it, but there's a purpose of why you are asking or requesting anything from me. I trust you. You have proven yourself to have that foresight, to have good guidance. And I'm just to the point where I don't want to tell you no. I don't want to tell you no, because I'm to the point where I trust you.
Yeah. I think that takes time and consistency, because this lifestyle is very, very different. I mean, she asked me last week. She was like, "Can we do a video about how difficult this is?"
Oh no, it's not easy. not saying that like I was the worst or the perfect. Like I'm kind of like in the middle. I knew the truth. Once I hear it, I'm on board with it. But it's the practicing of getting those dysfunctions out of my system completely, because I'm so quick to go back to something and it's like wait I'm not dealing with the same. Like sometimes the situations could be the same as if I was with another man in a previous relationship, but you have given me different outcomes than these men have, and I think that's what I kind of focus on now, because I'm just like, okay, this does look familiar, I've been through this. Emotions start going, and then I have to tell myself like, hey, he's not like them. This is someone who knows what he's doing, and if he says that I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Let's just get these emotions
in check. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's another thing I talk highly about, is the consistency in masculinity, because that's what gives you and women the assurity that things are going to go as they were said they were going to go. Because even me as a man, if someone has a bad track record of showing me that they can't keep what they said the outcome is going to be, I'm probably not going to trust them with something very important. Women find their emotions to be very, very important.
Yes, we do. We do.
They get in the way of things sometimes, but I think having a man that you can put your emotions and trust in, to say that if a man says to you that, hey, at the end of this, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. It's going to be difficult nonetheless, but you'll be fine. You're not going to be devastated. You're not going to be demolished emotionally. You're going to be all right. And I think building a woman up to understand that by showing her that you're able to produce these outcomes that you say are outcomes can give her the ability to be able to trust in you with the most precious thing that she believes she has, which is her emotions. I think that's important. But it only comes with understanding yourself as a man. That's what I understand, understanding that I need to produce outcomes for myself. I need to hold myself accountable to being able to back what I say I'm going to do for myself. And I think the more men take that up, the more women will follow, because if you build it, they will come. And what you build is yourself. When you build yourself, the women will come. That's how it always been. That's how it always will be. So,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not an easy road. It's not something that, like I said, the purpose is there. I understand the purpose from day one. Like I saw you without even knowing exactly what I was seeing, but it was a beautiful light. It was a fresher breath air, a fresher breath air. And I know that I have a long ways to go. But I know that if I keep reminding myself that there's a purpose behind this, and that, you see this beautiful down the road, I trust you. So I'm definitely willing to work on it, continue to work on it, and I don't see myself ever giving up.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Ever giving up, because you are the man that you say you are. You are the man that you show the world, and I can vouch for that. So
of course they yeah.
I'm getting cookies later. But it wasn't easy. I know it's not gonna. I know there's levels to this, and that the more I go up, the more responsibility and expectations of myself will be from you. And I'm just knowing that if I can get through this, of what we have gone through, then I'll be all right.
Oh, definitely.
I'll be all right.
You know, and I told her, I was like, I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And, you know, she didn't believe me for a long time. You know, I told her, I was like, I see something and I know it's there. I know it's there. And I feel so bad about the women of the community, because a lot of them are swept in just because they are dysfunctional, but that's not the core of who they are. Sometimes they need some type of guidance. They need to be set the fuck down. They need to be slapped a few times, whatever they need. They need something. You know what I'm saying? They need something to jar them out of this constant re-edification of their dysfunction. They keep reliving it over and over again, and then they try to change it a little bit, but they're still working off dysfunction in the first place, and they don't even know it a lot of times. You know, a lot of people will say, well, you know, you're an adult, you got to be accountable, but that's not how we became powerful people, by being individuals. We became powerful people by being responsible for our brothers. That's how. And I'm not going to stand by, and I'm definitely not the Captain Save-A-Ho kind of nigga. Nope, that's not me. That's not me.
They don't like you.
I know. They don't. Yeah, they do not like me. But you know, I'm not that dude that puts more into a woman than she's willing to put out. I'm not that guy. You have to give it. You gotta give it. In order to receive, you gotta give it. And I think that if more men held women accountable for what they want, then they will get better results. And I think that's what happened with you.
And I believe that if women would change their idea of what they want, it would be easier to actually have a healthy relationship with the man. Yeah. You know, because a lot of women, they really just want a man to get their nails done and hair done, and it's just like, wait, hold up now.
Well, you know, I honestly think that is another social program that women are taking up, but they don't feel any fulfillment behind it. I can see it in their faces. They go and they get their nails done and they get their hair done and they take the picture and then they're like, now what? There's no fulfillment. You can see it at the point where they snap that picture in their face.
So then let's say that, I feel like I've said this before, but as far as you'll know if you want something, if it's really valid, because once you receive it, you're fulfilled. You won't want nothing else. But that's not the case. You know, you'll always just be like, oh, I want more. Yeah. And you'll want more. Then it's like, when do you start asking yourself, why do I keep wanting more? When will I ever be satisfied?
Yeah. And I think that's really common amongst women, because they're taught socially that their desire can never be quenched and they should never look for fulfillment. They're really taught that. They're really taught that they should never look for fulfillment, because all of the things that they are taught that they should seek after, it doesn't fulfill them at all. And they know that. They deal with it every day. They deal with it more than men do. They deal with it more than men do. I've never gotten my hair and nails done. You know what I'm saying? I've never had these things done. But I figured that they would know how unfulfilling it is more than I would. Yes. And it's so strange that they keep yes, that's what I'm saying, re-edifying the dysfunction. They say, okay, well, maybe I'll get my nails done in this color and I'll feel better. Like, no, just because you change the color doesn't mean that it's going to fulfill you. Just because you change the hair doesn't mean it's going to fulfill you. Just because you get your butt done, just because you go on this vacation, just because all these things that women are seeking is not fulfilling them. But when are they going to learn? Just like you said, when are you going to learn that you keep eating, but you're not getting full? When are you going to say, you know what? I don't accept that anymore. Exactly. And I'm going to look for something that fulfills me. When is that going to happen?
Well, it happened for me. And I'm glad that it did, because I didn't know I was looking for you. I didn't know I was looking for a man like you. But I know I was looking for something. I was like, this doesn't feel right. Yes, I'm being taken care of monetarily. I have a house. I have a will, ready for me when he passes. But it was just like, that's not what I really want.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't overcome the satisfying feeling that I know I can feel. And now I'm just glad that I was able to keep firm that there's something that's better. Like, this feeling that I'm feeling is not correct. And I kept searching for it, and here I am.
That's good. I mean, I know.
I don't know. I'm very grateful. I'm very honored. I feel like I always say that when I have to say it when I'm on a video, because it's an honor that you see something in me. Because I definitely see it in you. So.
And that's the thing. We had a conversation not too long ago about the people that I associate with. I told her, I was like, I don't tend to draw ill people. Like, I don't. That's the reason. That's the whole thing about. I don't tend to draw hoes either. Like, I've never dealt with a hoe like that. I mean, I've had some managerial aspects.
He was a pimp.
Some managerial aspects, but as far as my interpersonal relationships that I dealt with women, I've never dealt with women that are like that. And that goes for even the people in my outer circles. I don't deal with people. I don't attract people who are bad. I don't attract people who are irredeemable. I don't attract people who are malicious. I don't attract those type of people. So when you came to me and you're like, I'm not really a good person and I want to be, and I'm like, no, I just think you need to tweak a few things and you'll be just fine. And the person that you believe that you want to be, and that's where it starts. It starts with acknowledging what the truth is. The truth of it, because once again, society has fed us so much stuff that we don't know up from down anymore. And then when we are approached with the truth, we don't believe it because we're used to chaotic dysfunction. It takes showing, proving, and consistency in order to show there is a way out. But a lot of people don't have that. And that's the reason why I started this channel, because I wanted to show people that even though you may be in some circumstances where you feel like the world is on top of you and there's nobody out there who can help you out of this, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk to everybody. I'm here to make sure that we get on the right path. That all of our people are not irredeemable just because they have dysfunctions. The dysfunctions are not you. Because it's, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
The dysfunctions are not you. They are just what they are, dysfunctions. They're no differently than, like I said, like an addiction. Because the addictions make you behave very differently than who you would actually behave as if you didn't have that addiction.
If you didn't have those lies said to you. Yes.
Yep.
And I thought I didn't have much dysfunctions, but once you start unraveling one dysfunction, a couple more pop out. And that's where you have to be like, okay, well, if I start unraveling it, I have to go ahead and remove all of it.
Yeah.
I guess I can't stop. And that's why I'm saying the purpose just will always be there, because
as many years as it took to program that stuff in, it's going to take damn near that many years to get it out, and maybe some more to actually reintroduce healthy ways to look at oneself and go about living life. I've never been the person to just give up on people just because they have these afflictions, because that's the way I look at them, because it's not who they are. I can tell at the core of a person if your dysfunctions if your seemingly dysfunctions are just the product of who you are. But a lot of times that's not, because like we were having a conversation earlier about how mental health in the Black community is like unheard of. It's unheard of. I didn't know what behavioral health was until I got into the military. And I was 20-something years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no idea. I had only been to the doctor a handful of times in my lifetime. Like, actually, self-care and being taken care of properly is cliche. I mean, it's a taboo in the Black community. Like, we don't get tested like we should. We don't go to the doctors as much as we should. We probably don't even go to the dentist as much as we should. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that need to be corrected. And just because you were taught wrong don't mean that you're a bad person. That's not what that means. It doesn't mean that you're irredeemable and nobody can help you. That's not what that means, because that's a problem in the Black community that we need to squash right now. So I'm not going to sit here and misrepresent that by saying that just because you have dysfunction, I cannot deal with you, because that's what we were taught at a young age.
You know what? And that's why I definitely was like, okay, I'm not going to try to fit in with society, because they looked at me and it was like, this is what you are, this is what you are, this is what you are. But not one person said, hey, this is what you are doing. And this is how we can fix it. You know, nobody ever said that to me. They're only willing to point fingers. And, you know, I have nieces and I have nephews. And right now I'm not in their lives. I'm like, I can wait until they're 18, but I will never be like, oh, okay, like, you're horrible. No, I'll be like, it's okay, but let's go ahead and fix it. And I think that's a problem with every space, because they're so quick to just say, well, that's what you are, you're not like me, so bye. Instead of, hey, you know what, you little hyena, come over here. Like, let's get this worked out. Like,
but you're not even a hyena.
I know that.
You're not. You know, that's you know.
Let's not go there, because I do want to talk about it, but no.
Well, you know, I'm not. Once again, I'm not the type of person who attract fucked up people. I don't attract fucked up people. I attract people who need the energy that I have.
Well, I was just saying, like, that was one thing that, you know, definitely hurt my feelings, because once again, that's what has been done to me my whole life. Oh, you're Muslim, you're not like me, go away. You're not like me, go away. You know, not one person was like, hey, you're different. Let me teach you what I know. Let me know what you know. And so I know that I'm not a hyena. You say I'm something, but I don't even believe that sometimes. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to be anything. I don't want to be part of no clique. Like, I want to stand alone. But I know that I have nieces and my nephews, and I need to get it right for them. I need to be an example for them.
Yeah. I mean, and not just an example for them, but an example for everybody. Okay. I mean, because you have something to accomplish in this world.
I do.
And part of that which you are charged to accomplish requires that you have good relationships with people. And I understand. I know. That's the then. We're working on it now.
Yes. And I know that I will overcome it, surpass it, and teach other people how to overcome and surpass it as well.
Because every teacher had to learn. Every teacher had to learn. Nobody was just blessed with knowledge. They had to learn this. And sometimes the ways that you learn this are very hard.
And sometimes it has to be hard.
Yes, because that's the best way to learn the lesson at that point in time.
Yeah. So,
it's unfortunate, but that's a consequence.
So pretty much, I fell in love. My heart got broken. It was just like, all right, let's get back to the purpose. That's what we're pretty much here to say.
And you know, the crazy part about that is, I say to her all the time, I was like, when did I tell you that I was somebody different than who you taught me to be?
Never.
I'm never.
No, you have been the same, like, from day one. I'm just like, when is he gonna flip? When he's gonna turn the tables? But no.
And how long has it been? It's been a year and what, 3 months?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. And I've been the same person the whole time.
The whole time. Doesn't raise your voice, like, nope. Not even like, hey, it's okay. I'm just like, what?
And I tell her all the time, she has her moments where she gets in her moods and she's like, well, I'm gonna go do this. And what do I say to you?
I don't know.
What do I say to you? What do I say to you when you tell me what you gonna do?
Oh, because you're in charge?
Yeah. Oh, I say, all right.
Oh yeah, you do say all right, but you be like, oh, because you're in charge.
Sometimes that's a checkable moment, but most times it's not, because I understand that, hey, a woman is going to submit or not. That's just the way it is. She's going to submit or not. And if any point in time where you feel like you don't want to submit, hey, that's on you, because you're getting something in exchange for your submission. And when you don't submit, you don't get that.
Exactly.
So, hey, that's the work I got to do.
But then what happens? You'd be like, all right. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't want to do it no more.
That's true.
I'm like, okay, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to do it.
We live by a corner store. She'd be like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go somewhere. And she leaves and goes to the corner store. And then comes back. And I'm like, what happened? She'd be like, oh, I want to be home. I don't want to go anywhere. So funny.
I do.
So funny.
But I'm learning. It's not easy for anybody who's trying to get it together, who's trying to I don't know. I don't want to say like they're trying to find a man or whatnot. But as far as when you do, just know that they'll recognize you for who you are, and if they give you a purpose, then you know that you're with the real one.
Yeah. If they give you a purpose and they can show consistency in why that purpose is important, I would say that is the man that you're supposed to be with.
A lot of men are upset with you because they don't know how you did it. I'm telling you. I want to get some of your videos. Like, this is why I submitted to this man, because that's all they wanted from me, and I would not give it for anything.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So you say, well, this is a then and now video, right? So we can talk about it. So you say that men want a submission from you, yeah?
Yes.
And what happened?
I would not give it to them.
Why not?
I did not before I would say that I would never have submitted to anybody who was not leading me to a place I wanted to go, right? But now I would say I did not give it to them because they wasn't doing nothing with themselves at all. And I didn't want to get caught up in that. I didn't want to. How can you submit to somebody who doesn't have it right themselves? That's all I
get it.
Would say. Yeah, they mad. They so mad.
Yeah, I know. I think I asked you about that not too long ago. I was like, so what do you tell them? And I remember what you said.
Oh, no, like you can't tell me nothing. Like, literally, they haven't. I was literally married. Paper and all. Yeah. And he still, I was just like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, I still did my wifely duties, but as far as, I felt like, if I clean the house, I can go where I want. And that was my mind. I know that would not fly with you.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't force you to do anything.
No.
At the point where you be like, I'm going to go do this. Okay.
Exactly. Right. And then I think about it, I'm just like, no, because I know what that entails because of what we already agreed upon. So we met, fine, cool, had a wonderful lunch. Thank you for my soup. Yeah. And then we hung out, and he was like, here's a paper, write what you would want from me. I wrote 3 things. I wish my list was longer. I always asked him afterwards, can we make a new list? But I asked you for 3 things. You had a paper. You wrote down 7 things, 10 things. We exchanged them and we agreed. We said we both can do that. And that's what it has been. And I don't want to say you asked for anything unreasonable. You have never asked for anything outlandish. I just wish I put more on my paper.
It's not that, and that's the thing about it. The paper was just the baseline of bipartisan understanding. But at the same time, it wasn't a hard thing because I understood that you wanted more. I understood that you were going to want more and you were going to need more. So it evolved. You get way more than what that paper said.
I sure do. But I want to say too, like, you know, these women falling in love with you though, right? Like it's.
Well, yeah, and that's why I said, well, okay, now I have to put a disclaimer ahead because my disclaimer was, you come here, you're going to face everything that you tried to run away from, or that you didn't understand that you needed to check. I tell everybody that
We're in a safe place.
Yes, yeah, and the consequences are only as big as you're willing to make them. That's always been the case. You know, I never want to mash you up, you know what I'm saying, or put super duper consequences. You know, I don't want to put like super heavy consequences on you for it, but I want you to feel that there's a repercussion, there's consequences for what needs to happen. And
different levels call for different things.
Exactly.
Because I got in trouble once and I had to make a video. And I was like, that's all? That's all you wanted? I was like, okay, yeah. I won't do that no more.
Yeah. You know, and that's how I operate because I want that's the background of discipline. The background of discipline is that it needs to fit the circumstances.
Yes.
It needs to fit the circumstances so that the message is well understood of why that should not happen, because these are the consequences. So that establishes a real life boundary of understanding, because now you know that if you do X, Y, and Z, these are the consequences, instead of me just telling you that.
Yes.
You know, and that sometimes have to be established for people who are not held to consequences.
No.
And you know, that's why I don't like simps like that, because they're not going to hold any woman to consequences because they want some of that China. You know what I'm saying? They will do whatever they need to do to get it, and they won't hold you accountable for it. And I think that's part of the reason why you felt like you didn't have to submit, because there is no accountability for you to submit.
Listen, when I was 10 and I started making my own money, you couldn't tell me nothing. I asked my parents. Like, I came home when I wanted to, mm-hmm. not doing anything, you know? But yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing. But with you, I trust you, and you can tell me, and I'm like, okay, you're right. It may take me a couple of hours or a day or two, but I'll come back and I'll be like, you know what? You're right.
Mm-hmm. And I think what that comes from, because men don't understand their power and authority. They don't understand that they have something that all women want.
Yes.
And they don't know how to leverage it in order to get the outcome that they want. Just like you said, you started making money and nobody could tell you nothing, right? Yeah. But I was giving you something you couldn't buy.
Yes, you was. Mm-hmm. Protection.
And that's the reason I was giving you a lot more than just protection.
Guidance.
I was giving you so much.
Oh, yes.
You know, I am giving you so much. I'm giving you so much that you cannot buy, that you now understand that there is a high value to.
And it's priceless. Mm-hmm. And if you're only asking for my submission, then you deserve that.
Exactly. and that's so weird that men don't understand that they have something that they can actually leverage at a high price for.
High price. Because nobody else got that.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, because I used to always say, like, oh, I left something for my husband. And that was just rubbing his feet mm-hmm. every single night, mm-hmm. you know. But now I realize the true thing that he really wanted was my submission. Mm-hmm. He wanted to have me
in subjection.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's funny when we met. I was like, oh, that's the only thing you want? I was like, oh, really? I'm like, dang. That's the one thing I don't give. You know, so I was like,
And you know, and that's the thing of it. Like, I didn't beg you for it.
No.
I didn't demand it from you. I didn't say, what I mean by demand is that I didn't say, you need to give this to me or else. Mm-hmm. I didn't put it that way. I said, these are my requirements. And if you meet them, this is what I can offer. That's all I said. And I said, hey, can you do it or not?
And I gave it so freely. Mm-hmm. I gave it so easy. Like, if I knew what submission was. Well, I still have a little no problem, but now it's to the point where, like I said, I trust you. I don't want to tell you no. If you told me go stand outside, you know, in this outfit that you know I'm not going to be comfortable in, I'm going to be like, okay. Because I trust what your purpose is, regardless. And that's where I am today. Before, I'm like, I don't know about this. I used to always question it, always, you know, before I go ahead and do it. But now it's just like, you know what? All right. Yeah. He got plans for us. He got plans for this and that. So let me just go ahead and do it so I can make it easier for you.
And you know, what she's talking about is a no problem, because I have a problem with no's, and she knows that. and the strange part about it is, like, all of the stuff that she says no to, she does it anyway.
It's like a habit. It's a really bad dysfunction.
That's why I'm like, why even say it? Like, you know, But once again, that comes from years and years and years of programming the wrong way, the wrong type of programming. Because in her being, she wants to do this, but the programming tells her to say no. And she still does it anyway. You know, it's repetitive stuff that we need to unravel and cut off, you know, and replace it with what's supposed to be there. And that's what we've been doing this whole time. She didn't come to me perfect. I want y'all to understand this. She didn't come to me as someone who was completely fixed, if you want to put it that way.
I was masculine.
You know, she came to me with some level of oh shit, we definitely gotta work on that. And I say, and y'all hear her, like she's feminine, she's polite, and she's very understanding. She's those things, but she didn't come to me completely that way. I had to reteach her what the proper way is, and I tend to believe that that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? I tend to believe that when a woman is shown the right way, she feels more comfortable when she starts to accept it, because I can see the uncomfortability in women when they are doing all this stuff that is out of their character, is out of their nature. I can see it, and I'm like, who the fuck are you fronting for?
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you have to go home with yourself and you think about all that stupid shit you did today. You know, all that bad behavior, all that masculine energy you was giving off of, and you're feeling some type of pride behind that while you're sitting by yourself with your 10 cats. You know what I'm saying? Like when reality, you want a family. When reality, you want a man who is strong and gives you leadership and guidance and protection. Who are you fronting for?
Yeah.
Who are you fronting for?
For society.
Yeah. Society ain't gonna give you shit.
No.
You know, and that goes to the false fulfillment thing. You know, again, you keep taking in all this stuff and you go home and there's no fulfillment.
Yeah. And that comes to play with the whole women lie to themselves.
Yes.
We could go on for hours.
Yeah, we can. But anyway, I don't want to make it too long.
No.
We're gonna cut it short. You got anything else to say?
Can I just try this one time?
What's that?
And we're back. I love it. I just want to see how I sound.
You can do the outro. Oh. You know the outro.
No.
You don't want to do the outro?
No.
Why not?
And I want to intro her. Do you want me to do that outro?
How about we say it together?
I don't really know it.
Okay. How about this? I got it. You can say the last part because I know you know the last part.
Okay.
So anyways, as you know, we come to the end of the video. So this has been a Wolf in Bearded Clothes. May you have a good day.
And peace be with you.